Hi everyone, welcome to another day of the 100-day challenge. I actually started working on something and then I remembered that, oh yes, I should be recording this. So what I am going to work on today is, it is actually based on the envelopes that I made earlier. So what I want to do is make a little booklet that you put around one of the pages. So if this is the page, this would go on here like this. So you can glue it, you can put it like this, and then it folds in like that. You open it up and you have a little booklet. So what we're going to do is these two that I already made are just going to have to be bound. But before I do that, I want to show you how I made these. This one actually goes backwards on there. So it goes around on the page like that, and then you would flip it like that. And we'll put a closure on here, pretty simple one. This is based on an idea from Natasha from Treasure Books, and I will link that video below. I'll put these aside for now. And what we're going to need is a ruler. We're going to need a pencil. We're going to need a hole punch, or not a hole punch, a pokey thing, needles, some wax thread. I am going to use some paint for one of the papers that I'm using because it is not double-sided, unless I decide that I'm not going to use that paper. We're going to use glue, and then I have some not coffee dyed. This is a piece of math paper, and then we have a piece of avocado dyed, and then a piece of Easter egg dyed with onion skin. That's what this is. I love this paper actually. This is one of my favorites. I have a few of these sheets, so not very many. I'm going to have to make it again. This is also made with the avocado, no, not the avocado dyed, the Easter egg dyed, and onion skins. A piece of music paper. And this is avocado dyed with beet juice. I love how the colors look when you do that. Those two combined make for beautiful colors. So it's not a lot, but it gives you like a little booklet idea. Once again, I am still working with the Gothic Architecture kit from Seven Plaza, and I printed on the back of it the vintage documents paper from Shabby Dabby Doodah, and I can't link her below, but she has an Etsy shop, and that's where you can get these papers. They're digitals. Then I have, this is from the Basics digital from Seven Plaza, and this is the clocks collection from Shabby Dabby Doodah. And this is the one where this is again the vintage documents, and there's nothing on the back. As you can tell, some of these I've already been using, or I was already prepping it to make envelopes. So that's perfect. But I only need two, so I think I'm going to leave this one alone, because that way I don't have to use any paint. I do have another project that I want to do before I combine the journal, and I'm going to show you how to do that. What I want to make is beads, paper beads, because I want to have the spine I want to have beads on the spine. So that's what we're probably going to do tomorrow. All right, I want this to be the outside, this the inside. I want this to be the outside and this the inside. Let's start with this one because we've already measured the inside. So what we're going to do is just measure from corner to corner. Take a little line, and then again, corner to corner. Make a little line, and then you have your center point right there. Now you need that to be able to fold the sides in. And I need this to make sure that we are actually making it big enough to fit the paper in. So I'm going to the line that I drew here, and I will erase that line because I don't want it to show. Okay. I think I want the paper or the booklet to be kind of like this. So that means if I want so this is going to have to be the bottom. And I'm not measuring, I'm just folding and folding it crooked. There we go. And we're going to go I don't know if I measured this correctly. I think this one is smaller than what I was working with before, but that's okay. It will still work. There we go. So this is going to be the cover, or the outside flap. This is going to be the inside flap that is going to be glued down. And I'm going to make little dots right here so that I know where to fold this down to. So it's kind of the same idea as making the an envelope. Not being awfully careful. I want it to be a little shabbier. There we go. There's that, there's that. We want to round the corner right here, and I think I want to use the biggest one. There we go. And these, I'm going to fold them again in half, like that. And there. And I'll cut these edges off. And I'm sorry if you can hear my air conditioner going, but it is very warm in here. I had it off all day, which is not very smart. And so when I came home, it was really warm, and I forgot to turn the air conditioning on. I just started working. Okay, I'm just going to erase the pencil line. And then I'm going to glue these little flaps down to reinforce these pieces. Right there. Oh, I should have cut this off. Don't do it this way. It's okay on this side because there's not very much space there. Let's just cut a little bit right here. There we go, much better. And then we'll glue this down. I have actually brought the camera down a lot, but I can zoom in a little bit. There we go. So you can see more of what I'm doing. Kamiko, I am actually learning how to do this. So there we go. Now we can ink around the edges to make it look a little bit nicer. So I need my ink. I'm using Vintage Photo and I'm just going around. The paper that I am using is 30-pound paper, I believe. So it's just heavier than regular copy paper, but it's not cardstock. And I've got it upside down. How did I get it upside down? I wanted it like this. I guess it's going to go this way. I want to make sure that the music paper is the right side up. And that I have it somewhat centered. So it'll go in like that. So before I start sewing these in, I want to make the other one as well. And I'm not sure, well, no, this one is the right size. So I don't think this was a 7.5 by 7. No, this was definitely smaller. And it's not 7.5, it's 7.25 inch that I'm using. So these I ripped all the way around the edges. So we do the exact same thing again. We just go corner to corner. And here as well, corner to corner. I want to make sure that the church is going to be somewhat visible. So I think I want to make it like that. So these are going to be the sides. There we go. And if I have it, look at that. This is going to be and you see I didn't measure at all this time, which is not very smart. So I'm going to have to go back just a little bit. I'll have to keep that one there. And then this one will be right at the edge again. I think this is correct. This will be the right size. Yep, perfect. Okay. So now we just have to fold these in. Hold this in. Cut the corners out of here. And right there. And right there. Then I can cut these flaps off. And I can erase the lines on the inside. There we go. Let's glue these down. This is cardstock, so it's a little heavier to work with. I'm just going to use this to flatten it a little bit better. There we go. My one flap, and then it'll sit like that. All right, let's make these creases just a little bit stronger because it is cardstock. It's a little heavier to work with. Let's ink around the edges again. And I'll mention again that the paper that I'm using, this paper, is from the Gothic Architecture kit from Seven Plaza. You can find it on her Covey website, and she has some beautiful other digital papers as well. She just released the an entomology kit. It's I believe it's called Antique Entomology. It's beautiful. It's one that I am going to be wanting to work with, but I already know what I want to do next for a project. It's going to be very colorful and bright. A little different from this where I have to bring the color in. All right, there we go. We have 2 of them. We have 4 of them now, actually, all at the same stage. So this one goes this way. This one goes this way. This one goes this way. And we have this one that goes that way, and this one is going this way. There we go. So next I'm going to just do the 3-hole pamphlet stitch to sew them into the journal, and I'm going to do it very simple. I am going to eyeball where the center is here. I'm going to fold this over. I'm going to take my punch and I'm going to find the center of my signature. Punch a hole. And another hole. And another one. And I'm going to actually leave the pin in there just to make it, to keep it steady. I'm going to take a piece of waxed thread, and I'm using like kind of a neutral color. I think it'll look nicer. And I am grabbing a needle. I don't think I need a gigantic needle. Let's grab a needle. So this one I am not putting beads on, because that would be way too much in the journal. It would make the journal so heavy. But you can if you want to. So we're gonna go in through the center hole, or out, I guess, then back in through the bottom hole, and then we're going to go across, all the way across, pull this out, go all the way across to the top hole, and then I usually pull back on the bottom, on the thread that went in first, so that you're not going to punch through it. And then we're going to go back in through the center hole. There we go. Make sure that we've got the thread on either side of that center thread. Make sure that everything is nice and tight. I'm going to make a knot and pull it tight, but you don't want to pull it so tight that the paper starts buckling. You just want to have it tight enough that it will hold. Make another knot. There we go. And I'll put a little bow on it. Whoa. It disappeared out of my fingers. There we go. Little bow. Fold this in. And there we go. And guess what? I forgot to ink around this. But because it's like there's lots of room, I can still ink with the signature already in it. And then we'll do this again. All right, so this one is finished. Let's go with the second one. Oh no, I folded this over. That's not cool. So this one I inked the inside completely, and it's not very neat and tidy, but it does work for what we want it to use it for. I don't need to ink this one, I don't think. Let's just do a little bit. I just want to make sure that we don't have these icky white edges on the paper. There we go. It's gonna go in like this. We'll find the center. One, two, three, and back in the top hole. There we go. We'll take a piece of wax thread. I don't know if I have enough here. I grabbed a little bit less than what I normally do. So you can bind with all kinds of stuff. You can bind with embroidery floss. You can bind with ribbon if you really want to. You can like bind with pretty much anything. It does have to be fairly sturdy because you don't want to lose your thread in the signatures. You don't want it to snap on you or anything like that. Here we go. Make sure we're on either side of the middle thread. There we go. Pull it taut. And make a knot. It's very nice and taut. Make a second knot. There we go. And a little bow. Oh, this is going to be an itty bitty bow. I'll cut the end off right there. Make it a little smaller. There we go. And there's number 2. So we have 2 for our journal. And if I make, I decided that if I make the other ones, like at least like this one, for example, I can use somewhere else. And I can make a decision on which of the booklets I prefer to use in this journal. And I have another littler journal that I'm making as well. So that way I'm using up all the little bits and pieces. So it doesn't matter that I have 3, I will need them. These 2 are completely inked, so they'll be really quick to do. I am just going to cut 2 pieces of string and we'll get that done and then we'll call it a day. There we go. Make the centers of these signatures. There. 1, 2, 3. Once you do this a few times, it gets really easy. The first time that you're binding something, it's very intimidating, and I think I watched a YouTube video with tutorial. I believe it was from Natasha from Treasure Books, and she went through it very slowly, and I just kept pausing it and going back and pausing it and going back, taking it apart and putting it back together, and now I've got it down. I can do this fairly quickly. When you are starting out with binding signatures in journals, start with single signatures first. Don't start right away with a multi-signature journal, because it just makes it so much more complicated. It's much easier when you're just starting with something like this to learn how to bind a signature into a cover. There we go. 2 knots and a little bow. And one more. I'm just making sure that they're pretty well in there. Okay, let's find the center. These are lovely for mass making as well. You can have a whole bunch ready if you make them with neutral covers, or if you prefer to work with pink journals or white journals or whatever color, like you can mass make a whole bunch of these and have them ready to go straight into your journal when you're ready to decorate it, and then you just have to put decorations on it and away you go. All right, in through the center. Then we go back. Where's my hole? Right there. There we go. Then we go bottom hole. Go all the way across to the top hole. Back through. And then back. I always like to pull this down so that you give yourself some room, because once you punch through the thread, then it won't fit very well. You won't be able to tighten it at all. And I've taken quite a few journals apart because that's what I had done. Wax thread makes it a little bit easier for that as well. I find when you're using embroidery floss, because it has so many different loose threads in it, it's very difficult to not punch through it. You can use yarn too, I think. That would be kind of cute if you have a little leftover yarn to use that in your journal as a binding. Okay. And I even have everything the right way up. All right, let's make some closures, and I'm going to make them very simple. I have some scrap paper here, So this is a scrap from the vintage documents. This is a scrap from the Gothic Architecture kit. And this is a scrap from something else that I was working on. And it's actually really neat. It is foil paper. It's cardstock. And what I like to do with this is I like to take a little bit of the sheen off of it. So I have my little sanding disc and I just go over it in circles. And it takes the sheen off and gives a little bit of a design on it. I really like how that looks. There we go. And then I have my circle punch, and I am going to use my 1.5 inch circle, and I'll cut a few. Oh, there's 2 right there. So I think what I want to do, I have 4 here. What I would like to do is I have 4 of the larger ones, and then I think I want to do 4 of the littler ones. That did not work well. That did not work well either. There we go. Why am I cutting half pieces? How many half pieces do I have? Oh, there's a whole one. Okay, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 out of this. And then let's punch a few out of this as well. And then we can decide which ones we like better. So I think what I want to do is put them on top of the gold, I'm not sure, copper, I think it's copper, circles. And I think I want to use the Gothic Architecture ones. I think those are the coolest. It has little bits and pieces of the, well, maybe I want to use 3 of the Gothic Architecture, and then I'll use 1 of the, there we go. There, we'll do it like that. How is that? Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've had it forever. I believe I got it at Michael's. So something else that I've done with it is this is the exact same paper. But what I did was I used my claret paint and finger painted all over this. Like just went around in circles with a little bit of paint and let it dry, and then went over it with the sanding disc and then inked around the edges, and that's a pocket. Very simple. All right, let's glue the circles together. And then we'll just so I don't need to glue down like a big chunk of it, just a little bit. right there. I'll go a little bit like that. Okay, so this one is definitely going to be used as a pocket because I made the closure on top of the flap. So I won't be able to use this one over the page. I will have to use this inside the page. That's all right. Sometimes we're not so brilliant. So just remember that that's what we need to do. So I'm just going to put this there to remember that we can't put that on there. So this is going to go right here. Same idea, just go around like that. I think we can go a little bit further with the glue. There we go, that's better. There. So this goes over the page like so, and then you just flip it up and open it, and you can close it up again, and you can use this as a little notepad. So that's 2. Put it right there. Sure it's well attached. There we go. And slide it right in there. That's 3. And we have 1 more. And yes, it kind of covers up that, but that's okay. There we go. All 4 are complete. So we have this one that has a little bit of blue in it. It has some very cute pages in it. And it was just some extras that I had sitting around from the kit that I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with it. And this is a perfect solution for it. There's a little bit of blue in this side of the paper as well. And it still looks vintage and pretty. That's 1. So this one has the church on the outside. And then it has all of these. So they're all different. I am terrible for not being able to match anything, and so I'm just going with that. This is very, very old music paper. The tape is very old as well. I didn't put it on there. It's very cute. I like this project a lot. And then we have this one as well. Just like that. This has blue pages also, with more architecture pieces on the other side, and then it has this on the inside. And there's today's project. All right, so these are the 4 that we've done. Let me know in the comments what you think of them, and I will link the YouTube channel for Natasha from Treasure Books below. She also has a Facebook group, but you will find that on her channel. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to the channel so you know when my next video is being released. I'm trying to release them at around noon every day. That's noon Central Time in North America. I am located in Canada, and I am sorry, like, I do know where certain time zones are, but I can't do that for the whole world. So I'm just going to tell you to Google which time that would be for you, or when you hit the subscribe button, then you will know exactly when my video is released. Thank you for watching. Have a lovely rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow.